Hi everyone. I think it's live now. So look who's here. Hi Kaneez, how are you
It's
doing?
me. Good. I can't see you. That's fine.
Thank you so much for your patience. So along with
I
Chess,
can't see you, Samya, or the board.
You can't see me. I'll start my virtual camera. Then
Yeah, now I can see everything.
you can see me, right?
Hi, everybody.
Kaneez, I'm really happy you're doing this once again, and
I know.
I know you're very busy and you still are taking out time for this. So
No, I want to learn chess, so I'm happy to be here.
yeah, we are very excited, and also thanks to you, I'm back to streaming. I haven't streamed for 6 months, so
Oh, wow. Well, that's great. You
glad
and me
that we are
both.
doing this. Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in, and we'll start the lesson क्योंकि अभी कनीज को जाना भी है और मैंने ऑलरेडी बहुत
Sorry.
देर लगा दी तो
Sorry.
um,
Thank you for teaching me.
1 minute, I'll just a moment. I need to do something else, so I'll bring the just chatting screen. Okay. Sorry, just 1 minute, and you have to show some patience.
Yeah.
Because while I was doing all this, the board went away, so I have to bring it back. So Kaneez, I thought today we'll just do some basic चीज़ें जो शायद आपको already पता है, but we thought we'll do like a revision छोटा.
Yes, please.
So
You know, my biggest issue is I can't recognize checkmates.
yeah, I know, and I also realized two things, by the way, from our last few COBs, which I have seen you play. I think you, first of all, you play very well. You always have the advantage in your games. So you make the opening moves really well, and this is an unbiased opinion because even the commentators, usually it's someone else who's commenting, they also say कि अरे वाह कनीज को कितना अच्छा खेल रही है स्टार्टिंग में you get all the moves right and you build up a winning advantage. This also has
Yeah.
been. And then the problem is that checkmate नहीं होता है और फिर टाइम कम हो जाता है.
Yes.
And then you get nervous because टाइम कम
Yeah.
है और अभी गेम फिनिश करना है. And you're not finding the checkmate, and as a
No.
result वो opponent या तो टाइम पे जीत जाता है या फिर as a result of the जल्दी में हम कोई मिस्टेक कर देते हैं and फिर वो जीत जाते हैं. But
Yes.
so this is the main issue I also felt, and but today I thought we'll start slow.
Okay.
So we'll see how to checkmate with a lone queen first.
Okay.
So this is like one of the basic things, and usually in your games ऐसा typical position नहीं आएगा, but it's good if you know this so that you can have an idea कि ऐसा position आएगा तो कैसे checkmate करना है. And also usually there will be some other pieces on the board, but finally you're going to use your queen and your king. Let's say if you're a queen up. So
yeah.
So there are so let's say you have a king and a queen and your opponent has only one king, right? No other pieces, pawn nahi hai, kuch nahi hai. So one thing you have to remember is you first need to bring the king, opponent's king, to a corner. The king will be checkmated only on the edge of the board, not in the center. Okay. So either this position you need to get where the king is cut off here. As you can see, your king controls all his squares in front, and there is no square to go behind. Or
correct,
you can corner him on the side.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing, it's just a vertical opposition. So this is known as the opposition, where the king is in front of your opponent's king and it controls all his squares, in all the squares in between. So this is known as an opposition. And or you can also have a diagonal opposition where but this works only if the king is at the absolute edge, like absolute corner of the board.
Okay.
So
Okay.
then he has nowhere to go on this side, and so the diagonal opposition also works because ये square controlled है.
One square. Okay.
So, but yeah, so your first aim is to bring the king to the edge of the board when you're
Okay.
checkmating with the queen. So, for example, ये position में it's white to move. Let me remove all the. And you have a checkmate in one move. How will you checkmate your king?
I'll probably move. I'll just move the queen to h8.
Yes, great, awesome. So queen h8, and you give him a check on the back rank, and the king can't go.
He can't go anywhere.
Awesome. So you got this. Again over here, it's a similar position on the side.
Yeah. Same. I would just take it to a1.
A.
A1.
A1. Awesome. So A1. So in this position, you can even bring. You have two ways.
Yeah,
one is
two.
A1, and the other one is
Is
A7.
A. Yeah.
Because the queen is placed in such a way that it can go to both the squares. So you're cutting off the king, can't go ahead, and there is nowhere to go behind. Great, awesome. And
Got it.
let's say diagonal opposition, how do you checkmate the king now?
Would I move it to G2?
Awesome. So this is the full mate.
The lotus.
The lotus. So this would work even if the king is here, our white king is here, or white king is here, white king is here. Even
Yeah.
then this same checkmate will.
Oh, cool.
Awesome. So now we know how to checkmate. What is the position we need to get, है ना? या तो edge में या एकदम corner में लाना है black king को, right? So how do we proceed from this position? अभी तो king corner में नहीं है.
So we have to push him to the corner.
हाँ.
So I would move my queen to C4.
C4. Okay, awesome. So let's say I go. I don't go toward the corner. It's here, na? I go a little bit here.
Yeah. Now there's no opposition.
हाँ. Also, you have to be careful of stalemate. Like you know the concept of stalemate,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Is it one move to checkmate now?
No, you don't have a checkmate in one move now. Now you have to basically take away all his squares little by little and push him towards. Like your task is to restrict him to this file.
Correct.
Yeah.
So then would I just move it to B3, the queen?
Sorry, one moment. You want to move it to B3. Awesome. So you control this whole file with the queen.
Yeah.
And now he is forced to move only on this file. So this square is controlled. Perfect. This is perfect technique. Now I'll go here. Now what will you do?
Now I'll move my king to C5.
Beautiful. So you're bringing your king towards his king.
Yeah.
Okay, I will not allow you to checkmate me with the fool. I'll go ahead.
I'll bring my king again to B6.
B6?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah.
But the king controls B6. You mean?
Oh, sorry. No, sorry. Sorry, I meant, no, I didn't mean B6, but C6 then.
C6. Awesome.
To create the opposition.
Beautiful. So now I go here.
Now I'm going to take my queen to B7.
Beautiful. So you got the diagonal opposition position
Yeah.
and you checkmated. Beautiful. So, and even if I had come here, let's say,
Yeah, if you went down, same thing. B7.
which square?
B6.
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 Awesome. So, yeah, once you control his king and you can, once you restrict the king to the last rank, basically,
You can play around.
yeah, you can bring your king towards his king. Just be sure, just be careful not to make a stalemate. That is the only thing you need to be careful.
Yeah.
For example, in this position, let's say you give a check and he goes back and you bring your king here with the intention of giving checkmate on the next move, but now it's a stalemate because the king can't move anywhere. So this is the only thing you need to be careful about, that you don't I mean, your technique
why isn't a stalemate considered a checkmate?
Yeah, there are some petitions going on that consider a stalemate a checkmate as well.
Checkmate, because you've moved where he can't move, so then you can't move.
Absolutely. You're finally cornering the king anyway, but it's just that it's not a check. So there are some petitions going on. We will sign the petition, Kaneez. We will sign the petition. So yeah, your technique was perfect, that you restricted him and with your queen, and then you brought your king and you cut him. You got the opposition, either the diagonal one or the frontal
side.
Yeah, side to side. Awesome. So the last one in this is, now the king is very much away from your black
middle.
king. Yeah, it's in the center of the board. So how do you go about restricting him?
Okay. I'm going to move my queen to C6.
C6. Okay, so you want to cut him off on
control.
This side.
Yeah.
So you're controlling this flank fully. So I have to go.
Yes.
Let's say I go further away. I won't go near your king. I'll go here.
Okay. Chalega. Then I'll move my queen to D6.
D6. Okay. Yeah, D6 is also fine. D5 would be even better because you also control this square. As many squares as possible. Try to control.
Got it. You mean rows?
Because squares. He has enough squares here. When he goes to the edge, you have to be careful कि stalemate ना हो जाए. As long as he's in the center, towards the center, it's fine. You can.
Now I want to move my queen to E5.
E5? My
E6, 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 E6.
Brilliant, brilliant. So you're controlling all his squares again. Okay, I'll go back. What to do?
Now I want to move my queen to A, B, C, D, E1.
E1. Okay. Okay. So I'll go ahead.
Now I want to give up. Now I want to. Okay, so E1 wasn't the right move.
I mean, you can do it, but you'll waste some moves, you know.
Yeah, it looks like I'm wasting. Yeah. So what should I have done? Okay, hang on. Let me look at this.
You can bring your king because the thing is, वो finally king F4 पे आएगा तो मतलब.
Yeah.
Your king is too far away. You anyway need to bring him.
So bring it to E7?
Bring him.
Okay.
So I won't go to the corner. I'll keep it here.
Now can I bring my king to f6?
Brilliant. Because see, the checkmate will happen on this side of the board. These.
Yeah, correct.
So your king is always useful here because your queen is restricting him from going here, no? So just bring your king ahead.
Now do I move my queen to f5?
But then it will.
No, he'll push him out. He'll be out. I'm not controlling that row.
You want to restrict him, na? Bring your king ahead.
So king down, king to f5.
हाँ, क्योंकि finally you need to bring the king one square away from your opponent's king.
Right.
So ठीक है, I won't go back so easily. I'll play this one.
Now queen to e3.
Yeah, brilliant. So let's say I go here.
Now if I put the queen on f3, it'll be a stalemate.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Well spotted.
Okay. So I'm going to put my queen in the corner on h1.
You mean g1? h1 is this one. Can't reach.
Oh, sorry. Then I'm not going to want to. Sorry. Then I'm going to put my queen on h6.
h6. Okay.
No, sorry. Okay, let's just control this row. Let's just bring the queen to f3.
No, f3 we saw that it's a stalemate.
Oh yeah.
So f3 we are not playing under any cost. We are playing any other move.
So then f2?
Yeah, f2 would be fine. But the technique we just saw was to restrict the king from going to this file. So we are controlling this file with the queen, right? That's what we saw when the king was here in this.
Yeah.
Sorry, in this position.
So g1.
Sorry. So we are going to g1, right? Because we want to control this whole
that row.
Rank, and now the king is pushed to the corner. So I'll go here.
Can I bring my king down to f4?
Brilliant. Because now the king has no other move but to go here, and now you have an opposition.
Yes. And now I'll just bring my queen in between.
Yes, and it's a checkmate.
That's not easy to recognize.
So now you know the technique, right? You bring the king to the corner, I mean on the edge of the board, and you bring your king in front of your opponent's king. You create an opposition, and then you checkmate the king either by the fool ka mate or the back rank mate. This one is also the back rank mate, right? Because the king is restricted. So and how we do this is we try to control as many squares as possible by the queen first. We restrict the king to one side of the board, and then we bring our king towards the opponent's king.
Got it. Okay.
And the king and queen will coordinate together. Awesome. So I gave you some exercises at home on this so that you'll always have it in your mind.
Yeah. Okay.
And so one related topic is queening your passed pawn. So now you have an extra pawn on the board. There is only one king and king. But it's your turn to play. And how do you know that this position is winning or not?
So I'm gonna move my pawn to b4.
Yeah. In this position, there is no need to
make him a king.
Waste moves with our king because the black king is very much far away.
So I'm gonna go
just
get a
play
queen.
some moves.
Okay, and up again.
Yeah.
Up again. Up again.
Yeah. If we play some moves, we realize that we'll get an extra queen just by pushing the pawn. And that's how do we know this? How do we know that we don't need our king at all to help our pawn to queen? Is there is a rule of square. Like in maths, there are some rules like that. In chess, there is this rule of square where from this square, this is the queening square, right? And this is where our pawn is. So यहाँ से ये diagonal और फिर यहाँ से ये diagonal, ये पूरा एक square बन जाता है, right?
Oh.
And the king is out of this square.
So if he's in the square, then I won't get there in time.
Then you won't get it because let's say it's black to play. Okay, let me make some move, and the black king comes inside the square, and then you start pushing the pawn. So now the king is in the square.
Too close, yeah.
Yeah, and it will be impossible to make a queen unless you use your king to help you. But
Right,
if the
okay.
king is out of the square, then you don't need your king at all. You can just queen it on its own.
Got it. Cool.
So this is the rule of the square, and we know how to win the game once we make a queen. And it's always advisable to make a queen instead of a rook or something, unless there are some exceptional position where there'll be a stalemate. Let's say if you make a queen, then you need to make a rook. Otherwise, it's always better to make a queen. So okay, I thought to show you like a couple of positions where of Koneru Hampi. You must have heard of her, right? Koneru Hampi. She is the best woman player from India, and she is world number 3. And she actually even reached world number 1. And when I started playing chess, she was my hero because I started playing at around 7.5, and that year she won the under 10 world championship in girls. So उनका ना सब पेपर में ऐसा फोटो आया था, and she was around the same age, same height as me, and I was like, oh, a girl my age became world champion, from India,
She was 7.
When she was around 9, she was 9 at
Wow, wow.
But in her age group, like under 10 girls, and
but
she
still.
won it's very, very creditable, and we were all completely
Has she ever come on somebody's stream before?
No, she doesn't. She's quite reserved. She has come on one stream actually. There is a channel of Surya Ganguly, who used to do a lot of interviews with players back in 2020. So that time she had come on the stream, but she's quite reserved otherwise.
Okay.
So I thought
to show me one of her matches.
Yeah, she's very, very inspiring. So I thought to show you a game of hers which she played under a lot of pressure. So this is her final round game in the World Championship, World Rapid Championship 2019. And if she wins this game, she becomes the world champion. So she was under a lot of pressure. And I thought to show you this game to just sort of inspire you, how we can handle such situations.
Yes.
So we will quickly go through the opening because, okay, otherwise I can show you basically the main position from which I want to show you. So they reached this extremely complicated position here.
Who was she playing against?
She was playing against Tan Zhongyi, who's from China. Okay. Can you see the names?
Yeah, I can see the names.
Yeah. So she was also a world champion, Tan Zhongyi, and I think at that time she was the world women's world champion, or maybe she or maybe she just lost it to Ju Wenjun like 1 month ago. So
do you mind showing me all the opening moves as well quickly?
Yeah, I will show you the opening moves as well, so that we can see how she built up the position. So Hampi is mainly a d4 player. First move she opens with a queen's pawn. And this is a theoretical position, so they reached, but now already they are playing some interesting stuff on their own. A3, she took. So now one pawn has been exchanged, but as you can see, the pawns exchanged by both sides are different. White has lost his c pawn, and black has lost his e pawn. So there is a slight imbalance in the position, not very high, but because the pawn structure is different, white's target will be the c pawn because he has the half open c file, while black's target yet he doesn't have any concrete target yet. So he played rook e1 and c6, and now bishop d3, rook e8, castle, knight f8. You can say this position is balanced. He's trying to activate.
Okay.
What happened?
I was like, you're like, as you can see, it's balanced. I was like, I can't tell. But you mean pieces wise?
Yeah, pieces wise, and
Yeah,
also neither of the sides have created a very big weakness. For example, the king is safe. White's king is also safe. And it's not clear whether any of each one's pieces are bad as such. You can always develop the bishop. You can exchange this one. Even white's bishop is doing fine. So that's why I said it's sort of balanced, because both sides have their plans. And now, okay, white provoked some slight weakness around the black's king, but it's still under control because white's pieces cannot immediately enter. Yeah. So white needs to open the position in order to take advantage of black's weaknesses. So by opening the position, it usually means opening up the center. So she opened up with e4, so that this diagonal is open move out. Now. Yeah, the queen can go out. So he took bishop into, and
the queen can also guard on the other side. No, nothing. I was like, the queen is free on the other side. Yeah. The other diagonal.
Yeah. So she played knight g5. She wants to exchange some pieces so that, in the end game, white's d4 pawn does not have any other pawn which can support it. So it's called an isolated pawn, when your pawn is sort of isolated from the rest of its peers. And in the end game, it will prove to be a weakness. The lesser the pieces, the more difficult it is for white to support it. Whereas this pawn will always be supported with this pawn, right? So that's why black is trying to exchange pieces.
Okay.
And white's main idea is to attack black's king, because if white goes to the end game, then this will definitely be very, very weak. So now white has to play for an attack.
And why don't you want to just exchange? Why can't she move the pawn? Oh, the queen. Sorry. Okay.
Right now the c1 is rook is attacked, and also when you move this pawn immediately, it will take away the defense of this bishop. The pawn is supporting this bishop, so the rook can take it. So you will need some moves to move the pawn ahead. You have to move this rook, then this bishop, and if you move this bishop, then this bishop is hanging.
Yeah.
So you need some more moves to mobilize that d5 push. So f4, bishop h6, and white played queen b3. So can you guess what is the idea of this move? It's a very subtle move. Chat, you can also guess. I'll try to see. You have a message from Abu Kaneez. Kaneez, you are going to kill it. We don't need to make Kaneez a world champion. She already is.
Thank you.
It's so sweet, actually.
That's so sweet. A world champion in what? Thank you. It's a subtle move. Like the next move, the queen's going to do something, right?
So it was basically a preventive move, this one.
Oh.
Black's idea, black had two ideas in this position. One was to push f6 and trap this bishop.
Threaten. Okay.
So when we move our queen here, the pawn is pinned. So
okay.
black cannot.
Oh yes. Okay. She doesn't see it. Okay.
And there is another idea that black also wants to develop this bishop, right? Because black का development कम है अभी. Black wants to get all his pieces out and make them play. So when you play a move like queen b3, you also sort of keep an eye on this pawn. So when the bishop moves, you can take it for free.
Okay.
So you are restricting black's development.
Okay.
So it's a multi-purpose move because you also prevent f6 and at the same time you are preventing black from developing his bishop also. So black anyway developed because black does not have too many ideas here. So black developed his bishop anyway, her bishop.
So he took the pawn.
And so white took the pawn and black played f6. Now if we move our bishop to c7, black can take d4 pawn with a check. So white decided to give up the bishop for the pawn, but the rook is also attacked now. So after
the rook is also
attacked, it is under attack.
By what? Ah, by the bishop. Got it. Okay.
And now if you move the rook here, then white can take this rook because now suddenly when this pawn is while this pawn was alive, you couldn't take because black could take back with the queen. But once you take it, once you take it, the bishop anyway supports the queen, and you will be fine in this position.
Got it. Okay.
So that's why black took on e5, and she gave up the rook, and after bishop e8, black first took on d4 with a check, king h1, and rook e8. So such a move is called an intermezzo, intermediate move. Because you are always expecting black to take queen into e8, no? In this position, like automatically. Because you took one piece of black, so black is expected to take it back. But intermediate move, which is also called as an intermezzo, you play a move which forces white to sort of play another move. You cannot save your bishop right now. You have to move your king, and so you take the piece back with the rook. So now you got a pawn as well as the bishop. So now you see the position has changed completely, right? Here in this position, we were discussing that equal pawns hai, and there were we are restricting black
development.
Equal pieces hai, and in a few moves, it was a long combination. अभी पूरा balance change हो गया है. White has 2 rooks, 1 queen and 5 pawns, whereas black has 2 bishops, 1 rook, queen and 4 pawns. So actually the balance is in black's favor, but at this very moment. But the point is that white can also pick up some of black's material. Like white can pick up the pawn, white can pick up this pawn later. So it will become sort of balanced. Because 2 bishops are 6 points, right? 1 bishop is 3 points.
Yeah.
And the rook is only 5 points. So right now, black has 6 versus 6 versus 5, but white has 1 extra pawn. So it is also 6. But still, pair of bishops together, like there are some people who are, they individually they are not as strong they are together. So these 2 bishops are also like that. Like together they are really powerful, So that's why it's important that we have more material in exchange. 1 rook and 1 pawn is not enough. We need at least 2 pawns to sort of balance it out. So white played rook d1. Black ने हटाया queen को, and after this, so this is also a nice move. Your pawn is pinned, so you cannot take it because bishop से rook मर रहा था. So white ने इसलिए ऐसा move खेला कि black cannot even take the pawn, queen को attack किया, and when the queen moves you take the pawn, and if you take back with the queen, then white can pick up this pawn. So that's why now you got 2 pawns in return. So black played a5 and white played b4. So white wants to make a passer out of this pawn, this is the middle game. There are too many pieces on the board, but still white will try to push this pawn as much ahead as possible, because there is no pawn restricting it. So this is the passed pawn, because there is no pawn in front of it and there is no pawn restricting it either on c7 or a7. So that's why.
But also we hope that he moves the castle at some point.
Huh. So white played.
Castle will just take it.
Kya? Sorry?
No, I'm saying if you move the pawn forward to get to the top, the castle is still there. It'll just eat it up.
Huh. Right now the rook is still there, but you as much ahead the pawn is, the better it is for white, because white also has pieces to support this pawn to make a queen, right? Yeah. So that's why. So she pushed it further ahead. Black played bishop f5. So अभी bishop ये diagonal से चला गया, ये king के defense के diagonal से. So white gave a check. He moved the king and queen to f7. So now the king is much weaker than, let's say, when the queen, the bishop was here. You know, the bishop was protecting this diagonal. But now suddenly there is no protection. Yeah, now suddenly the king is much weaker. The queen is far ahead in the camp. So the rook, with the support of this bishop, attacked the queen. Queen to e7. And if black अभी कुछ नहीं करेगा तो white just pawn push करेगा, b7 b6 b7, and next move you can take the rook also, because queen f8, bishop f8, and you make a new queen.
Yes, correct.
So black has to do something. So black played king g8. So one of black's threats in this position now is to attack this weak square. This is the only weakness near black's king, which black can white's king, which black can attack. So actually black's threat here is bishop to e4 and queen g2 checkmate.
Okay.
And that's why he played king g8, क्योंकि अगर इस move में वो खेलेगा तो rook अभी वो bishop f5 पे था, इसलिए rook f8 पे अटैक नहीं था, पर bishop हटाने के बाद वो मर जाएगा. So इसलिए he played king g8, so that next move if I play b6, she played b6, so that next move she can play bishop e4, and after rook f8 you can play bishop f8. So now the bishop is protected with the king, and that's why white also realized what is black's threat. So white played rook d8. Now again, can I play bishop e4 here as black?
Yeah. I mean, are you saying can you? You can.
No, I mean, would it be a good move?
Oh.
Okay, let's say I play this. What will you? And this is your game. Imagine I am black. No, imagine I am.
I'll take the rook.
Yeah, you'll take the rook with the rook or with the queen.
With the queen.
With the queen?
No, with the rook.
With the rook, right? Because the bishop is supporting the rook.
Yeah.
So you'll take the rook with which one?
I think I want it with the top one, because the bottom one still protect.
This one?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. So actually in this position, either of the rooks would do. And after bishop f8,
now I'll take the queen.
With the queen. Awesome. So it's a checkmate.
Oh.
Awesome.
Wow.
So you got 1 point. So you got 1 point. Like, you imagine you're white in this position now. Every time I ask you a question now, imagine it's your game and you're white. Okay? So you have 1 point in this game now. Okay. One more position.
I mean, listen, this is like really confusing.
No, because in your game, you're likely to get such positions rather than the ones which we saw.
Correct.
Those are for knowledge, so that in case you get an extra queen, you know how to checkmate. You are not feeling like, okay, I don't know how to checkmate. That's the only point of solving those positions. But these are the kind of positions you're likely to get.
Exactly. So I do want to see, like, because I'm feeling like, I can't see everything. I can't see anything.
So rook d8, queen c4, black played. So black.
What are we doing now?
So now black is actually attacking this pawn and the rook as well. So there's a double attack. And you can't support it because the bishop controls this square.
Got it.
So that's why white played rook f d1 here.
Okay.
So
why? The queen can still take the pawn.
Yeah, here black can actually take the pawn, but I think I think she was under time pressure, or maybe the position, maybe sometimes the tournament situation. Yeah, okay. There is a subtle
reason.
The point is here, white can play e6. And what do you think is the idea of this move? Let's say I play queen e2. Chat, you can also guess. I'll try to see.
If she moves the queen to f7.
Awesome.
I mean, she's protecting that, right?
This rook is pinned, right? You cannot take the queen with the rook because of the pin.
Because checked,
And the pawn protects the queen, so you can't take it with the king. So I have to go to king h8. And now?
Stalemate. Okay, now we move the pawn up.
Actually, that's a good move. You can move the pawn up, but this is a good move. I wouldn't deny, but there's an even better move here.
I'll take the rook.
Just take the rook, because then I have to take it back with the bishop.
Yeah, then I can take the bishop.
And then you take the bishop, and it's a checkmate.
Checkmate.
Brilliant. Cool. Awesome. So, so that was white's idea. E6 is white's idea. So black is very now desperate. Black needs to do something very concrete in order to stop it.
We've checked. What do you mean? We've checkmate so many times.
No, I'm giving you some options.
Oh, sorry. I was like, what is
what happened in the game?
Oh, got it. Okay.
So actually, black played this move, but here also maybe white could have played e6. But then black can play queen f4 and stop this queen to f7. That's why black moved the bishop from f5, so that the queen can come here and protect f7. So white played rook e1 here, just normal move. Black played queen c3. फिर अभी ये क्वीन चला गया ये डायगोनल से, है ना? तो इसलिए चेक दे दिया वाइट ने. किंग h8 and
rook.
What do you feel like playing here?
I want to kill the rook with my rook.
You want to take the rook? Okay.
Yeah.
That's also possible actually. You can take it. White played a good move, I think, here. White played queen f6, because see, you cannot take the queen with the rook
because it's pinned.
Yeah, and the other point is, if you put the bishop in between, then let's say you're white here, what will you do? It's your game and you're white.
I'll take the rook with my rook. The bishop will take the rook. I'll take the queen, the rook with the queen, and check.
No, that's the point. You can take the rook with the rook, and actually the bishop cannot take it back because it's pinned.
Oh.
So you'll win the game. It's checkmate.
Oh, okay, great. Okay.
So 2 points. Awesome. So that's why white gave a check, and you cannot put the bishop in between. So you're forced to play king g8. And again, now what will you do here as white?
Can I just take the rook with my queen?
With the queen, then the bishop takes it back.
Sorry, fuck, I forgot that bishop. Okay.
The bishop is actually doing a very good job of defending black's position.
So if I take the rook with my rook, then the king will take, the bishop will take that, and then I'll take, oh, but you won't be protected then. Can I move my rook to f1?
Brilliant, brilliant. So your rook was under attack on e1. The queen was attacking the rook. You anyway needed to save it, and there is no clear checkmate here, right?
Yeah.
So you bring your rook into the attack as well, and now you're threatening rook f8, bishop f8, and queen f8. The rook protects the queen.
Yes.
Brilliant. So this is what happened in the game. This is a world championship game. So you've 3 points now. So black has only one move here. Black defended this file with the bishop. It interposed, it put the bishop in between and blocked the file.
Got it.
But now, okay, I'll show you what white played. So basically now there is no immediate checkmate, right? Because the bishop has blocked the file. We cannot push this this pawn ahead because the queen will take this.
Will be exposed. Yeah.
So we have, but we had actually pushed this pawn with the intention to queen it, है ना?
Yeah, yeah.
So now anyway black is not threatening us. So we can simply move it ahead, b6.
Yeah.
So you can actually play b6 also here, but white first took on f8 and then played b6. So our plan is simple, b7 and b8, make a new queen. So black played queen b3, preventing b7.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would have done with black.
Nice. So what will you do here as white?
What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to put my my rook on. I'm going to sacrifice my rook. No, that's a dumb idea. Never mind. I want to threaten the queen. Oh, I'll move my rook to f. I'll move my rook to f. 3.
f3. Okay. Yeah, it's a decent move. The problem with f3 is that
so the queen can just move up.
Yeah, and also I can do it with a check. So I not only can I move my queen out, I can also do it with a check. And when you put your king ahead, I can actually start utilizing my pieces a little bit. I can play this.
Okay, fine.
And I can also create some threats now. I'm threatening this pawn. So the point is you don't need to attack the queen right now. You can either play queen to c6 with the threat to play b7 because now you're supporting the pawn. Or we can revert to our old threat. We wanted to play e6. You remember when the queen was on c3, it was not possible.
Yeah.
But now with the pawn, with the queen on b3, we can actually play this move here. And so now I'll ask you your fourth question. You're on 3 out of 3. What happens if I take with the bishop?
If you take with the bishop, I'll take with the queen.
Take what?
If you take my pawn, okay, I'll first move my other pawn up. No, the queen can just take that. Let me take the bishop with the queen.
Which one?
The one. Let me take the bishop. The e6.
E6 bishop, but the queen is supporting the bishop.
Yes, sorry. But
when you moved this bishop, something else happened. The bishop was here with a purpose.
He was protecting.
He was blocking this rook, right?
Yes.
Huh.
Shit, I'm so sorry. The queen can just take the bishop at the top.
Brilliant.
And then
Because
king
now
can't
the
get
rook
in.
supports the queen. So
Sorry,
when
I
you move
missed
the
that.
bishop, the f8 bishop hangs. So you cannot move the bishop actually, as long
Yeah.
as the bishop is on f8.
Yes.
So the only move here, in order, like white is actually threatening queen f7 check, king h8 and queen f8 checkmate, right? So black's only move here is queen, only other option is queen e6, but this also doesn't work because white will take, you take, and now there is a nice trick. So basically if you play b7 here, black can play bishop d6 and you will still win this, but the bishop controls the b8 square, right?
That, yeah.
But there is a nice trick here. You just take the bishop with your rook, and after king f8 now you play b7, and the light squared bishop cannot control dark squares.
Okay.
So it is of no use now.
Wow, you really exchanged some pieces for that.
है ना? And the king is too far away. So this was a nice trick. So black did not take on e6. Black had to play b4, queen to b4, sorry, and prevent e7. And at the same time, black was preventing queen f7 followed by queen f8 checkmate, because now the queen controls f8. So so white anyway played queen f7, king h8, and what would you like to do here? You are white now.
I'd like to move my g2 pawn to g4.
Be careful. You don't want to create more weaknesses because your king is very, very safe here. But once you move the pawn, the bishop starts giving you check. You know, this diagonal you don't want to open up. You want to be very careful with your king.
I felt like I wanted to threaten the bishop.
That's true. But when you push your pawns ahead, the squares behind your pawn become weak, and also this pawn was a beautiful defender to your king. But now, once you open it, the bishop will start checking, and then here also another check, and your king will be in huge trouble now. So you have to be careful. Don't touch the pawns around your king, because your king is very safe and you have a winning position. So play with your other pieces.
Okay, could you give me a hint? Am I attacking or am I protecting?
You are attacking, and you are also you have 2-3 plans in this position, right? One is checkmate, which is not possible on the next move, right? Because the queen supports the f8 pawn, and the other is to queen your pawn. So you have 2 pawns on the.
So can't I move my pawn up one, my b6 pawn to b7?
So you want to queen the pawn.
The queen can't get it. Yeah.
And you're supporting it also with your queen anyway. So it's supported. And black has a really shortage of moves. Black cannot move this bishop because then it opens the rook and you can take the f8 bishop. So black played bishop d6.
Okay, to protect that square. Now, can I move my other pawn up?
The other pawn? Wow, which one?
The yes.
Brilliant.
E6 to e7.
So you want to queen this one, and the only way to stop the queen would be bishop e7. So now, okay, brilliant. E7 is a very good move. But what happens to bishop into e7?
What do you mean what happens?
I mean, how will you continue?
Now I'm going to take it with my queen, let the queen take my queen, and then pawn my queen up.
Okay, I'll give you this one. This is also correct. But this is a tougher win because you have a rook and a queen against queen and bishop, but it's not checkmate yet and the game will still go on.
Okay.
This is also winning. I'll give you this one. But can you try to find a better, like an easier win for yourself?
Okay. I can find for sure. Oh, I'm going to move my pawn h3 to h5.
No.
Okay, fine. I won't do it.
Don't touch your pawns near your king. They are
I'm not
really
touching
great
the one.
defenders.
No, just the h1. He's not doing anything
but
like
for
that.
example, if you touch this pawn, then I'll take it.
Oh, fine.
So don't move your pawns near your king. Your king is very safe. There is not a single check in the position for black. So don't give him opportunities. So basically when the bishop was on d6, I'll show you the difference between the position. When the bishop was on d6, it was controlling b8 and the queen was also controlling b8. Both of them were controlling. But now the bishop has moved and only the queen controls b8. So if you can control b8 with another piece and you can make a queen on the next move. But if you do it like ऐसे आराम से, then black will play bishop d6 on the next move and control.
So then queen to e8 then.
Beautiful. So once you know what to do, you can easily find the move, है ना? That's what I've observed. Queen e8, king g7, and then you make a queen. Beautiful. So you'll win this game. So that's why black resigned after white played e7, and actually Humpy won this game, and with this she won the world championship in 2019. And you have scored 6 out of 7 in this game, so that's awesome.
Wow! So much help with so many clues.
But you did really well. And you are seeing chess after I don't know how many months. You have not even seen the board, right? You played some over the board chess, I think.
I did play. For the first time in my life, I played like 3 matches on the board with this really good comedian. A comedian here who also plays chess. So, but I'm meeting him this afternoon to play some more chess. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he told me, like, when I started playing, he was like, "Wow, your opening game is really good." And I was like, "My teacher taught me."
No, but you learned it.
Yeah. No, but I was like, my teacher taught me really well my opening game.
I'm really happy to see you could solve almost everything today. Almost everything. Like just one question, and that too it was tough. So.
Let me start doing my exercise and playing on chess.com, and inshallah, the boys will play well.
We are going to do well. And pressure, जैसे देखो Humpy को भी ये game पे she had a lot of pressure, right? She loses the world championship if she makes a draw. Yeah. But the way she just kept on building and found the tactics, which you are also able to find, right? Like when you know what to do, you are able to find it. So it's just about keeping calm.
Thank you, Soumya, so much.
Awesome.
And thank you, chat, for being so supportive. And
maybe
we can do one more stream before the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, done.
So
we'll figure it out. I'll message you.
Yeah, I'll send you some homework for tonight.
Done.
If you have time,
thank you so much. I will. Thank you, Soumya. Thank you, chat. See you soon.
Kaneez. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
So guys, that was awesome. I'm like super happy with today's, and I don't know how to. Okay, I'm like, okay, 1 minute. Yeah, I did it, and just in the meeting. Yeah, I thought she did really well. I was actually not sure because like a big gap in chess especially is when you're just starting out can be a little too much, but muscle memory, it pulls you back. So So yeah, I'm really glad about today's stream. Thanks guys for joining. This was fun. I'm very happy, and I'm very happy I could get back to streaming isi bahane. So COB6 Zindabad. Let's see how it goes. Bye bye.